Good evening, everybody. It's a beautiful 4th of January, 2025. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Coming to the Crusty podcast, episode 327, Canadian political elites in panic mode. Oh, my God. A great interview between Dr. Jordan Peterson and Peirre Poilievre has our political elite in stitches, and they're scared of big words. Tisk, tisk, tisk. All that and more coming to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Please stick around. Viewer and listener discretion is advised because I will smoke cigarettes, and just make fun of politicians as I always do. Already? See you in a bit.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 327 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and this podcast is also brought to you in part and supported by Veterans for Freedom Network. That's right, Stand 2 Veterans for Freedom. And coming soon, Veterans Freedom TV. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Hope you've had a great New Year's, good celebrations. You played it safe, played it cool. And just a reminder, too, if you like and hear to see, click like, subscribe, share this content all over your social media platforms. Do not be shy. And a special thank you out there to my new subscribers. It's going up again. That's right, the list is going up. So give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome. Well done. Thank you very much. You guys are outstanding. And just a reminder, too, if you feel like donating, please consider donating, too. You can also find my podcast on the on the below there in the red. So, as the episode says, Canadian political elites in panic mode. An outrage because there was an interview recently by Dr. Jordan Peterson, one of Canada's newest, well, not really newest, credited intellectuals, a psychologist, and a university professor, writer, and motivational speaker, and all-around nice guy, apparently, from what I hear from people who've seen him live. He had an interview with Peirre Poilievre the other day, too. I'll leave a link to that in the description, ladies and gentlemen. But I actually listened to it when I was at work, and it was very, very informative. Now, from my point of view, is this. Here's Peirre Poilievre. He's up and coming. He's quite popular in the polls. He's going to be a shoo-in for the next election. That is not an issue. Okay. But when you actually listen to the man speak, he's a hell of a lot more articulate and a little more grounded and truly more based than any of the Liberal or the NDPers out there, too. And where I stand on liberty, and I like to remind some of my viewers, too, I've had some comments in my last videos from some individuals who have said to me, Crusty Canuck, liberty is an American based. Why would you say you want liberty? Give me liberty, give me death. That's so American. And firstly, it's not just American. And it's the Americans for commercializing it, but not for inventing it. Okay, we've all taken ancient history in high school. The ancient Greeks invented democracy. Okay, and it was the British that perfected the parliamentary system, thanks to the likes of Oliver Cromwell. Okay, now whether you have a parliamentary system or you have a republic system, liberty is essential to go about your business, do your thing, to vote, to write, to dance, to create, to say what's on your mind. Okay. Now, to the Canadians out there that are my age, Generation Xers, and some boomers, wake the fuck up. Okay, I'll say that to you right now. I'll say it again. I'll say it. Wake the fuck up. Okay. Just because someone says liberty doesn't mean all of a sudden they're American. Or someone says gratuity doesn't mean they're a greedy capitalist. It's language. There's no ownership to language. Okay? When I want liberty means I want you and I want me just to go live in harmony and not worry about anything. I'm not saying utopia, but I'm also saying let me live my peace and I'll let you live your peace. You do your thing, I do my thing. Live and let live, right? Didn't the Beatles sing about that? Let it be, right? And yet you still have some people clenching their pearls, talking about the good old days in the 1960s where Pierre Trudeau won the hearts and minds of the masses because he had a vision of Canada that almost fucking ruined us economically. Kind of like what his son's doing right now, too, eh? You know what I mean? So when you watch the interview, like I said, I'll leave the link in the description for you, ladies and gentlemen. When you watch the interview, listen carefully what Peirre Poilievre says about the immigration issues and this whole CRT wokeism that has affected everybody in the Western world. Anyhow, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to queue up a video from Brian Lilley from the Toronto Sun, and he breaks it down perfectly, basically. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, you guys decide, submitted for your approval. Just basically think for yourselves, and then you make an assessment of what Mr. Poilievre is standing for. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect, because every time this country has seen a big shift, a big changeover, a big transition from one prime minister to the next, there's always going to be things that are going to be cut, things are going to be compromised, things that are just not going to fall in place as they should. But I think there's a fighting chance. Anyway, I'll keep the captions on for you to decide, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, think for yourselves.
Peirre Poilievre gives a wide-ranging and well-viewed interview to Jordan Peterson, and, well, the elite's heads explode in Canada. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. I don't know if you've seen the interview that Peirre Poilievre has given to Jordan Peterson, but millions have already since it dropped on X on Thursday, late in the day. It's been seen by 30 million people, in whole or in part. Now, some of those are just going to be people scrolling by that catch a little bit, but 30 million people have been exposed to this interview. Then there are all the clips being shared elsewhere. So tens of millions of people literally have seen all or part of this interview. In it, Poilievre gives some interesting answers, like why he doesn't think it's his job to wait around for Justin Trudeau and the Liberals to get their act together.
By the way, the liberal media is all saying, well, surely you wouldn't want to trigger an election during the Liberal leadership race. Excuse me, the Canadian people are not obliged, 41 million people are not obliged to wait around while this party sorts out its... These guys could have got rid of Trudeau a year and a half ago. They knew he was a disaster then. And now they say, well, we're low in the polls, so we have to get rid of him. Now, you didn't care when he was just depriving single mothers of food for their kids, or doubling housing costs, or unleashing crime in neighborhoods across the country. But now you're really concerned about getting rid of him because your poll numbers are down and you want to keep your job. Sorry, that's not a good reason to paralyze the entire country, in the face, by the way, of a major negotiation with the incoming U.S. president, who enters with a massive and powerful mandate, and a man who has proven that he can spot weakness from a mile away.
He also explains that on immigration, we need to get back to a system that, well, is orderly, that works properly, and that keeps blood feuds out of the country.
The last 9 years, we've seen that's come apart. The foreign conflicts are now spilling onto our streets. I want to put an end to that. I want to say, look, we're not interested in the world's ethno-cultural conflicts. We welcome people.
Shadow side of multiculturalism.
We welcome the people who come from places that have been afflicted by war, as long as they leave the war behind. And frankly, most people come here to get away from those things. So by getting back to a common sense of values and identity, and reminding people that when they get here, they are Canadian first, Canada first. Leave the hyphens. We don't need to be a hyphenated society.
Now, if you've seen interviews that Poilievre has given before, some of this is very familiar to you. If you haven't seen it before, it's going to be novel. You've made some of the same comments to me in past interviews, including recent one that we did here on the Toronto Sun's YouTube channel. But this is being exposed to a much wider audience. But some people are pretty upset. I mean, check out this post from the Globe and Mail's Andrew Coyne, who is just beside himself that Peirre Poilievre would speak to Jordan Peterson. And then there's this from Bruce Arthur, the Toronto Star failed basketball writer who became a COVID lockdown aficionado and thinks he knows all things political. Check out this bad take. Sitting down for a friendly interview with Jordan Peterson should be disqualifying, while being endorsed by Elon Musk is something stronger than that. Talk to the wrong people, and, well, Bruce Arthur and Andrew Coyne, they don't think that you should be involved in polite society anymore. They are the arbiters, and no one can take those jobs away from them. Look, you don't have to like Jordan Peterson. I happen to. I've interviewed him many times. He is a smart guy. You don't have to agree with everything he says. He has a massive audience, though. Why would Peirre Poilievre not speak to him? It would be foolish not to, kind of like Kamala Harris deciding she wouldn't speak to Joe Rogan during the American presidential campaign. But don't expect Justin Trudeau to sit down with Peterson anytime soon, or anybody that would ask him a tougher question than what Trudeau got from CBC's Mark Critch for the This Hour Has 22 Minutes comedy episode. Yeah, while Trudeau is in hiding, Poilievre is actually giving interviews, and not just friendly ones, to all kinds of people. And that is a sign of leadership. Let me know what you think about the interview, about the reaction from Canada's elite establishment. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think, ladies and gentlemen. You know, what are they scared of? What are they afraid of? You know, what is the Liberal brand afraid of now, too? Now, coming this Wednesday, there's going to be a caucus meeting. That's right, a caucus meeting for all the Liberals, just to really sit and decide and worry. Do you know, Justin, we just don't think you have what it takes for us anymore. Even though the ass clowns in that Liberal Party has had the better part of 9 years to sit and discuss their issues with the Prime Minister. Interesting, hey? Interesting. Who knew, right? Anyway, there is nothing wrong with that interview. I highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, you watch the whole thing in its entirety. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long, and they just two grown men having a conversation about the plight and the fate of Canada. What's wrong with that? And I'd like to remind some people out there, too, if you don't like Canadian liberty, if you don't want freedom in this country, then you're more than welcome to go live in North Korea. You're more than welcome to go live in China. You're welcome to go live in Cuba. Right? And you're more than less welcome to live in a society where you constantly want to be told what to do, what to eat, what to think, and how to feel. Maybe soon enough, how to pee, too.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back to episode 327, Canadian Political Elites in Panic Mode. Oh, the outrage between the interview between Dr. Jordan Peterson and Peirre Poilievre. Hello once again, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around. Thank you for sticking around, and welcome to the podcast. If you're just tuning in, you'd like to hear you see, click like, subscribe, share this content, all of our social media platforms, too. Do not be shy. Give me a thumbs up, give me comments, all that good stuff. Check out my description, too. If you feel like donating, please donate. I encourage it, too. Things are tight after this holiday season. Not that I'm expecting you to foot the bill for me or anything else, but if you feel like donating, please consider donating, too. Helps me along the way and helps me create good content. Anyway, carrying on with this episode. So the more and more people keep talking about Dr. Peterson, who came to fame in 2016 because he refused to use pronouns, because he was basically being forced to say it. Okay. Now, I don't care if you identify as this, identify as that. But the moment you shake your finger at me and tell me you must address me as this, all bets are off. All bets are off as far as I'm concerned. And then you want to drag me into the courts, or drag me into a kangaroo court, or drag me into any kind of a scrupulous hearing, then it's not really about your rights. It's about your comfort. Okay? So I'm all for equal rights. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for freedom of expression. That's all expression, all speech. Okay, so to any boomers and any Gen Xers out there who just don't like what I have to say, who want to stop hate speech, get a goddamn grip of reality. Okay? Just because you may hate something doesn't mean the guy beside you or the gal beside you has to hate it too. Just because you disagree with someone's words in regards to a certain group of people doesn't mean that person should be shot or hung out and quartered and lose his or her career over it. Okay? I think we as adults can understand which is good to say, which is bad to say. Okay? Like the old adage where they used to say, well, you can't say fire in a crowded theater. Well, nobody in their right mind will. But we already have our laws in place to protect people from that kind of stupidity. Why increase the stupidity is my question. Okay? So with all these political elites like Justin Trudeau's and the Jagmeet Singhs, and of course Elizabeth May, I did have a video queued up of her going on her little rambling. I think she had maybe too much to drink. I'm not exactly sure. But when you look at the recent polls when it comes to who might be elected if they ran the election, let's say next month, you'd see the Conservatives coming out on top. I have friends of mine and people in my circle that don't have any respect too much for any more politicians, period. And in a way, I don't blame them. Okay. And I'm losing a lot of respect for some politicians too, because they go along to get along. The pandemic proved that. Okay. Who you saw at the convoy did that too. Now, I'm not saying all conservatives were terrible, but I kind of wish the conservatives did a hell of a lot more to back up the truckers rather than just go out and mingle and hand out coffee and donuts. Okay, that's fine, being part of the people. But I wish a lot more was done to thwart the liberal onslaught and the race baiting and the division that they've all created. Okay. Once again, I have to remind my audience too that I was not raised in a racist household, and I'm positive none of these were either. Even my American listeners out there, even my English listeners and my Israeli listeners, I am almost positive you're not raised in a racist household. Okay. So to sit there and wag fingers and use the buzzwords, they're starting to lose their meaning, just like the mainstream media is losing its meaning, and just like how a lot of these politicians are losing their meaning too. Right? To me, good governance is where the government's working for the people, not the people working for the government. Okay. Now, I think Pierre might have a level head on him. Time will tell. We all know nothing's going to change overnight once he gets elected. There might be some overnight meetings here, might be some cuts there, but it's really going to take time to fix what Justin made. It's going to take time to clean up the mess that his whole cabinet has made, from Freeland, to Jagmeet Singh, to Dominic LeBlanc, to what shameful Seamus O'Regan did. And there's possibly Art Carney, might come in and, or Mr. Carney, Mark Carney, not Art Carney, not, from Honeymooners. Sorry. Mark Carney, Mr. Banker Extraordinaire, Mr. I have shares in Stripe, and I have a lot of shares in heat pumps, which basically means shit pumps, right? Who knows what he's going to do, what he's planning to do. If I was Justin Trudeau, I would step down honorably right now too, because he's guaranteed money for life. He's not going to hurt. So all those sympathizers that back up JT and say he's trying really, really hard. He's never tried hard for anything in his life. He's never had to. Okay. And a lot of those liberal cabinet ministers have never had to try hard for anything at all too. Right. There might be some backbencher who grew up in a humbling situation, but that's just what they are, backbenchers. They haven't said much. And now they're all ganging up and saying, maybe you should step down, Justin. Hey, maybe you should just step down. Save our jobs, save our pride, and save our fucking face. If it was up to me, I'd have him fired already. There'd be an election in the process right now, and we'd have a new PM by spring. Okay. And I would highly recommend to the PM that no one goes home for the summer until we sort some shit out. And then you're back to work promptly September 8th or after Labor Day weekend, just like the kids do when they go back to school, right? To get back to work. Because we've all seen the figures of the salaries and what they all get for perks and pay and privileges. Okay. And some ridiculous pay is out there, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to see them start working for their money, right? Anyhow, an update here too. I will be live, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. This Tuesday on the 7th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will be live for a Q&A. So you can find me on the tube, on Rumble, and Facebook. So ask me all your questions. Do not be shy. Don't hesitate. If you feel like donating, please consider donating too. I will be live. That's right. Crusty Canuck Podcast will be live on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook this Tuesday, January 7th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So don't be shy there too. Right back after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, episode 327 of the Crusty Canuck Podcast. Canadian political elites in panic mode. That's right. And a big outrage over that interview because from what I gather of it, Mr. Poilievre has been telling the truth. Okay. Like I said, he's been very articulate, very stand-up-ish about it. And as far as I'm concerned, he does have a good cabinet, okay? And in regards to people saying he's a career politician, yes, he is a career politician, but he's actually making some sense, okay? And when you talk about career politicians, how many does the Liberal cabinet have? If you got to spend more than 10 years in liberal politics or any kind of politics for that matter, and nothing really gets done, then you're obviously a career politician. Okay? If you spend 10 years in any party and you're a backbencher, or you might have been a minister of this or a minister of that or a shadow minister of this or that, and you're still sitting in parliament, so you might be doing something right for your constituents, but that still makes you a career politician. So when I hear that argument, I just, whatever, you know. But I think Pierre is treading some good ground, and he's gaining some good ground too. So we'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe 6 months, once he's elected, 6 months into office, he becomes a real dick. Well, then you'll have guys like me and my friends in Northern Perspective and my buddy Radio Reaction and Moose and the Loose and Clyde Do Something. We'll sit and just bitch about it too. Who knows? Might organize a protest. We might have to see, eh? Anyhow, time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. Who knows? But things have got to change for the better. Things have to get better for all of us. And the clown that's sitting in the office right now, of course, Justin's nowhere to be found except for this caucus meeting he's going to have on Wednesday. Maybe talk about his feelings, re-strategize or something like that, whatever big political word they want to use. Let's really reach the people. Then again, I'll have to say you've had 9 years to reach the people, and so far you've made the people broke. You've caused division. You've made people lose their jobs, lose their minds, had to pay ridiculous fines in the name of safety when it's been proven there was no safety infraction, just control and individuals trying to save face. Okay. So, but, time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to see. It seems that every time that Peirre Poilievre speaks about something in depth or in detail, there's all these individuals that want to sit in their hands and cry to their mommies because they're so afraid about division. They're so afraid about pensions being cut. Okay. If anyone's cutting pensions, it's this sitting government right now that have to make us pay more tax into a pension that we might not get because of the debts they've accumulated. And they talk about the 10-day child care thing and the dental program. You've got to qualify for it. And it hasn't really helped a lot of people, at least not the people I've talked to anyway. So when you see those ads about how big bad Pierre might cut this and cut that, think about what the Liberal government has done with our money. They've increased spending on frivolous things that this country doesn't need, right? They've printed money out of thin air, which causes inflation, and inflation leads to taxation, which is a tax, and it leads to more taxes. And the Liberals plan to increase our taxes again this coming April with more carbon tax at the pumps and carbon tax in our home heating and cooling, depending where you live, okay? And basically, which means be more carbon taxes on the foods we eat and the things we take for granted that we hold dear. Like survival, eh? Who knew? But that's what's coming in the future. So if you buy the Liberal brand of BS, you're only going to hurt yourself. Now, can the Conservatives do any better? Who knows? But there's a better chance with them than there is with the Liberals. And when you actually look at the qualifications and the expertise that they all have, they should have won the election in 2021. But you also had the likes of Aaron O'Toole that was beginning to pander during the last 2 weeks of that campaign. And I remember it because I was on campaign for myself with the Veterans Coalition Party. And I remember hearing little tidbits and quirks and quips about what Aaron wants to do. And a lot of Conservatives were disappointed in him for that too.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 327 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Canadian political elites in panic mode. The outrage of the interview with Dr. Jordan Peterson and Peirre Poilievre. Hi, everybody. Thank you for sticking around this long. If you've been around this long, thank you out there to all my new subscribers and the people that give me comments and thumbs up too. If you do see this podcast, please give me a comment, give me a thumbs up, ask me a question. My contact information is in my description. Don't be shy. Send me a letter. Send me some swagger. I don't mind at all. If you have a question in regards to my stance on politics, don't be afraid to ask. By all means, that's why we have the comments section, and that's why you can check out my email too if you want to send me an email. Right? Don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen. It's people like you that keep the algorithm going, and I expect you, my wonderful audience, to do that for me, please, if you can. Another round of applause for you awesome people out there. You guys are amazing. Keep it up. Help us Canucks get our words out there. Don't be shy. Let us know what's on your minds, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to end this episode with a few songs. I know I put off the song thing in it for a while, but I'm not going to carry on too much about the Poilievre and Jordan Peterson. I have a lot of respect for Dr. Jordan Peterson because he's standing up for what's right, what he thinks is right, and I admire the man's guts, And Poilievre is actually getting a little tougher too. So we'll have to see if there is an election coming soon. I hope there is one coming soon. That would be nice. It would be a breath of fresh air, ladies and gentlemen. But time will tell. We'll have to see. But I'll just leave it at that. And like I say, you wonderful people out there, you decide and keep thinking for yourselves and be critical with the thoughts. Question the authority. Do not hesitate. Put your MP on the spot if you have to. Put your MPP on the spot, your MLA on the spot. Because let us remind them they work for us. We don't work for them. It's that simple. Anyhow, this episode's songs will be kind of a punk rock based with a little bit of tones of good rock and roll. Anyway, I picked the Pixies, rock music from their Bossa Nova album from 1990. If you're familiar with the Pixies, they've been in a few movies, like soundtrack wise and all that too. And they're just a pretty cool alternative band from my youth. And I had to pick a Nirvana song. Sorry. But I'm not making any excuses up. Nevermind, it's a pretty kick-ass album from Nirvana. I chose the song Breed because it gets you in that mood for a good punk rock and a good ass kicking. And there's a band called Biohazard. I think they're more of a thrash band. I remember them from a tribute album from Black Sabbath years ago. But they did a cover of Bad Religion's We're Only Gonna Die Because of Our Arrogance. And last but not least, I picked Alter Bridge. That's right. Before Tomorrow Comes. It's just a great melodic tune. And Miles Kennedy, the lead singer of that band, is just a musical genius in his own right. So listen to the lyrics of that track and decide for yourself. It's just a really, really moving song, and I like it a lot. So I'm happy to share it with you there, ladies and gentlemen. Anyhow, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 4th of January, 2025. I hope you all had a great New Year's. Everyone got home safe. Everyone had a good time with their loved ones and their friends. Partied up a bit. Maybe didn't party up, just laid low. Needless to say, I've got a small Mickey of whiskey that was given to me by a friend of mine for Christmas, and I might have a cocktail tonight while watching some bad movies on Amazon. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 4th of January, 2025. I hope good things about this new year. I hope things come off to a good start, that we're able to see some light in the manufactured darkness, and we can carry on with our chins up and persevere as us Canadians should, as well as you, my American friends and British and German friends and friends all over the globe. Stand high and stand proud, ladies and gentlemen. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll hopefully see you Tuesday for the live stream. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Mama said I had to fight the radio. See you later, folks.